Hello everyone, welcome back to JD Science Prep. Today we have a short video for you. It's going to be relating to an introduction to moles. So to start, a mole is a number that's just meant to represent an amount, similar to how a dozen represents a quantity of 12, or a baker's dozen represents a quantity of 13, with 1 for the baker. So a mole represents the quantity of, here's the magic number for you, 6.022 times 10 to the 23. Okay, so you'll notice that that is a very, very, very large number. But in our third point here, this can be used to measure amounts of atoms and molecules because, as you all know if you've taken some chemistry courses, atoms and molecules are very, very small substances. Okay, so we need a very large number to represent an amount of them. So we have a couple of conversions that we're going to do when we're going from, let's say, atoms to moles or molecules to moles and vice versa. So the first example, it says, how many moles of helium are there in a container if it contains 8.17 times 10 to the 24 atoms of helium? So all these types of questions really they're just unit conversions. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and see if we can solve this. So first off, we're going to start our question with exactly what we know. And we know we want to figure out moles of helium when we are given the amount of atoms of helium. Okay, so we'll begin with our 8.17 times 10 to the 24 atoms of helium. So atoms of He. And how I like to set this up is we're going to do something called a time sign line. Okay, and we're always going to put what we want on top. So our question is asking for moles of helium, and we know that for every 1 mole of He, there is going to be that magic number that we talked about at the very beginning of this video. There's going to be 6.022 times 10 to the 23 atoms of helium. So we will put that on the bottom there. Okay. And as you'll notice, our units do cross out. So atoms of helium on the bottom, cross out atoms of helium on our original number. And what we should be left with is moles of helium. Okay, so what you're going to type into your calculator, you're going to go 8.17 times 10 to the 24 divided by 6.022 times 10 to the 23, and you should get a number of 13.6 with significant figures. Okay, so we were given 3 sig figs in our question. We're going to keep 3 sig figs in our answer, and our units here is moles of He. So it should look something like that. All right, that is example 1. Let's scroll down to example 2. It asks, how many molecules of water are in 3.2 moles of H2O? So we are given a quantity. We're given 3.2 moles of H2O, and we're looking for molecules of water. Okay, so it's kind of the reverse of our last question. So we'll start off with exactly what we know. We have 3.2 moles of H2O. We're going to follow that same path with that time sign line, but this time on top, we want molecules of water. Okay. So on the top here, we're going to put 6.022 times 10 to the 23 molecules of H2O. So molecules of H2O on top. And on the bottom, we are going to be getting rid of, moles of H2O. So remember, for every 6.022 times 10 to the 23 molecules of H2O, there is 1 mole of H2O. Okay. So if you type that into your calculator, you'll go 3.2 times 6.022 times 10 to the 23. You should get an answer of 1.9 times 10 to the 24. So 1.9 times 10 to the 24, and that is molecules of water. So let me write down my unit here. Molecules of H2O. So that's my final answer right there. 1.9 times 10 to the 24 molecules of H2O. One more example here, folks. So it says, how many atoms of hydrogen would there be in 2.1 moles of H2? All right, so again, we're given moles of H2. We're looking for atoms of hydrogen. So let's write down exactly what we know. We know we have 2.1 moles of H2. And we'll do times sign line. On the top, we're going to use our magic number again because we want to get to atoms, right? So 6.022 times 10 to the 23. And on the bottom, we're going to put 1 mole of H2. Now remember here, folks, this 6.022 times 10 to the 23, this is going to get us to molecules of H2, right? Because hydrogen does not exist as just H. It's always as H2 when it's by itself. So this is going to get us to molecules of H2. Okay. Now we'll have to do one more time sign line here, right? And it's going to be 2 atoms of H2 for every 1 molecule of H2. Okay, so kind of a trick question here. Make sure you read the wording on these questions, whether it's asking for atoms or molecules, and you'll still notice our units do cross out here. So moles of H2 crosses out and molecules of H2. We should be left with atoms of H2 when we type this into our calculator. And you will type 2.1 multiplied by 6.022 times 10 to the 23 multiplied by 2. Okay, and I'm going to write my answer down here. I don't have a ton of space. What you should find on your calculator with significant figures, you should get 2.5 times 10 to the 24 atoms of hydrogen. Okay, so atoms of hydrogen. Okay, so that is a short introduction on moles and some calculations. If this video has helped you, please like and subscribe. Thank you.